Hello, welcome to Tip Talk Thursday. That's right, Triple T, where every Thursday we share a single tip that you can use to be the best you can be in your mental health. So today's tip is really special. There's a single tip I'm going to share with you today that could do wonders with respect to managing depressive symptoms. And all you have to do is laugh. Now, I'm going to tell you straight up that I would highly recommend you watch this video to the end, because I'm going to add a clip of myself bombing on stage, attempting to do stand-up comedy at a local pub. It's a very short video that I'm going to add to this particular video because it is kind of a funny thing. And really, this week's tip is all about leveraging laughter to help alleviate depressive symptoms. Did you know that there's a branch of study out there that examines how laughter can affect our physical and psychological states, directly affect how we feel and how we think, simply by laughter? So for this week's tip begs the question, how can laughter help alleviate depressive symptoms? Well, I'm going to give you 3 reasons. Number 1, studies show that laughter elevates mood. Okay, we're straight out of the gates. When you laugh, you feel better. It improves your mood. And guess what? When you're dealing with depressive symptoms or depression in general, depression is a mood disorder. So at any given point in your healing journey, or even when you're struggling with symptoms, from time to time, I always talk about that little open window sometimes where we're able to kind of lift our head out of the water of despair, so to speak, go into the figurative deep well depression concept, right? From time to time in our illness, we can lift our head up and we can feel somewhat normal, even for just a short period of time in our suffering. There's that little window of opportunity from time to time that presents itself where you can feel relatively normal, but you're still oppressed. But sometimes you just get that little bit of breathing space. And it's in that window of opportunity where you can derive tremendous value and leverage from laughter if you can find it, if you can bring yourself to that point where you're able to exercise laughter. Because when you do it, it's immediate. The impact is immediate. Why is it immediate? Well, that's point number 2. When you laugh, just like when you exercise, it increases the endorphin response in your body. Okay, so endorphins is a hormone chemical, brain chemical, that has morphine-like qualities or properties that reduces the perception of pain. Okay, so what is another characteristic of dealing with depression? You're in pain, right? You're in psychological pain. And sometimes that psychological pain manifests into physical ailments, right? When you're feeling chronic stress, you're going to have sore stomach. You're not going to be able to sleep well. You're going to be overtired. See, there's that mind-body connection that happens. So when you do laugh, and especially when you laugh hard, right, it increases the release of endorphins. And endorphins is a feel-good brain chemical. It makes you feel good. So the third point with respect to how laughter can alleviate depressive symptoms relates to laughter in a social setting with other people, not just you by yourself, with a friend or a group of friends. And this builds on the endorphin response of the body when you laugh. You see, there's a study out there that shows when you're in a social setting, these laugh-induced endorphins that are released, they can actually create the significant pathway to strengthening social bonds between people or a group of people. See, when you laugh, it's contagious. Everybody laughs when you laugh, right? It's just kind of, if you're laughing at something ridiculous and people see you laughing, immediately they're going to start kind of feeling good and starting to laugh, but even though they don't know what you're laughing at, and then you give them a little bit of context and everybody shares a laugh, that's great. But that whole exercise of the social laughter, again, creates this, or I should say strengthens the social bond between people. So that means you're feeling more connected to another person or to a group of people. How is that important when dealing with depressive symptoms? Well, one thing when dealing with depression or symptoms is that it's easy to feel isolated. You tend to gravitate toward isolation. At least I did in my experience. I wanted to be alone all the time, and I was nervous being in a social setting. I felt very uncomfortable, and I felt disconnected. Okay? But when you share laughter in a social setting with other people, it strengthens that bond, and you feel more connected. So if you're feeling more connected, that's a hell of a lot better than feeling disconnected in your symptoms. So with these points considered, a really good laugh can do wonders for your mental health. With the endorphin response, it's going to reduce the perception of pain in your disorder. And secondly, it's going to make your challenges appear more manageable. You're not going to feel overwhelmed. It's hard to feel overwhelmed when you're experiencing laughter, when you're in a social setting, having a great time with friends, family, or whatever. When you're able to find that window of opportunity to truly enjoy yourself in the moment, it's really hard sometimes to feel oppressed when you're laughing. Genuinely laughing, not fake laughing like you do sometimes when, you know, like I said, your symptoms are heavy and you just feel like you just have to be a certain person for somebody in the workplace or at home or, you know, somewhere else. I mean a real genuine laugh, okay? It makes you feel so much better. So here's a little backstory. About 2 years before COVID, so around 2018, I did my first open mic set at a local pub. And yes, I bombed. It was, I mean, of course you're gonna bomb the first time you try, at least the majority of people do. I did anyway. But regardless, it was a fantastic experience because number one, it was absolutely frightening. But number two, you're in an atmosphere of where people want to laugh. Everybody that is in that environment, they're there to laugh. And the majority of people there were strangers, but one thing they all had in common was the power of laughter. Everybody would laugh. They, you know, I mean, providing you had a good comic up there telling some good jokes, didn't laugh too much at me. I mean, maybe they laughed at me, but not with me. But regardless, with all that said, you know, that's where I got into trying stand-up comedy because I love the atmosphere of humor. And just being in that environment, just existing in that environment and watching the crowd laugh and watching the performers up there, you know, share their creativity and it was just, it just felt magical and it just felt so positive and it felt, yeah, just uplifting. And it became very addictive. Like I wanted to be in that atmosphere all the time because of the power of laughter. It is so amazing. So the video I'm about to show you is when I did an open mic back in 2019. And the bit that I performed, or the joke, was about my late father. Okay, now I wrote a lot of material about my dad. And long story short, my father was a very comical guy, always loaded full of jokes, and he wasn't afraid to push the envelope, and not in a hurtful way, in a very comical, safe, loving way. And everybody loved that about him. He had a wonderful sense of humor. So a lot of my material that I wrote was basically in honor of him. And this clip in particular is no exception.
So I bomb a lot doing this. I do. I mean, it is. I do. I've been doing this for a couple of years, and I bomb a lot. But it's really important to bomb. It's really important to bomb because I mean that's how but you got to find the strength to get back up. And bombing is part of just the way I am. And the absolute worst bomb I ever did, like I got up and I had a few jokes, and I literally brought the audience to tears, like they were literally crying, not laughter. Sorrow. I had some new material and the timing was good, so I thought I would try it at my dad's funeral. And I got up to the eulogy and I thought, I want to try this new bit. This sounds all right. So you guys can be like the congregation and play along. So I just walk up to the pulpit, knock, knock.
Who's there?
Not him.